不幸せという名の猫のいる不幸せという名の猫の
Creating an effective knife-only loadout depends entirely on your style and preferences as a knifer. Nevertheless, I am here to usher you through some of the necessities and variations of creating a solid knife class in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. When you first start out, your options will be limited. At rank 1, you'll be able to fill 6, maybe 7 of the pick 13 created class slots. But don't fret, ranking up in the beginning is quick, and by rank 17 you'll have a full and complete knifing class, minus the spike drone, but we'll get into that at a later time in this tutorial. Here's an example of what a knifing class will look like at rank 1. By removing primary and secondary weapons, you'll be left with the combat knife by default. A solid knife in its own right, it takes a little over 1 second for your knife to reset after you stab an enemy. This is not fast, but it is manageable. It is not an ideal knife for multiple enemy takedowns, but at this point there is no alternative. Your first decision will come in perk slot 1. Luckily, the first 2 available perks are the 2 strongest options for a knifer. So ask yourself, do you value stealth or mobility? Personally, mobility and quickness are my first priorities, so I will go with lightweight over low profile every time. Lightweight gives you the ability to sprint faster, and in a game of inches, that extra speed could be the difference between you closing the distance to an enemy and evading gunfire or not. This does not, by any means, discredit the use of low profile, which is a highly valuable perk. Generally, anything that keeps you off of the minimap is preferable, and with UAV score streaks a predictable mainstay in any match, equipping low profile is a smart choice. Remember though, you'll be able to double up on perks very soon, so running one or the other won't last too long. In the second perk tier, you'll have your choice between peripherals and blind eye. Both of them are adequate. Peripherals provides a mini-map that covers a significantly larger area. It also ensures that when you kill an enemy, a death indicator does not appear to your opponents, possibly giving away your location. Blind eye, most importantly, gives you the ability to go undetected by assault streaks, such as a remote turret, warbird, assault drone, and the like. This will lead to less deaths via pesky kill streaks, and any perk that helps you minimize death is a good choice. Now the third perk slot starts you off with hardwired and toughness. Hardwired is the obvious choice here. Toughness only reduces flinch when shot. This is only valuable if you are shooting back, which as a knifer you are not. So equip hardwired for now. It is certainly a worthy mainstay in a knifing class, since hardwired gives you immunity to stun grenades, scramblers, and the extremely annoying system hacks. Next on your decision-making list is a simple choice between exo abilities. Overclock is the obvious choice since it increases your sprint speed for a limited time. Couple this with lightweight and you'll be the fastest player in the lobby, pursuing enemies like a knife-wielding maniac. Lastly, at rank 1 is your score streaks. As a knifer, assault streaks are off the table, so that leaves you with the ever-present option of the UAV. Apart from its traditional radar sweep to reveal enemy positions, you will be able to increase the effectiveness of the UAV by adding modules to it as you rank up, and we will discuss those accordingly. Now don't get discouraged with your class at rank 1. By the time you reach rank 17, your class will be filled out and look drastically different. And even by rank 2, your class will gain the most valuable perk in the game. This perk is called Blast Suppression, and once you get it, put it on immediately. I cannot stress this enough. If you do not have Blast Suppression on, your exo movements will appear on the minimap, and all a knifer has in maneuverability is exo movements, and you do not want those exo movements alerting enemies every time you dash, boost slide, boost jump, boost stomp. It will appear as a red ripple alerting everyone in the vicinity. So do yourself a favor and always equip it, and you'll be well on your way to rank 17. So what makes rank 17 so special? Let's check out the main class that I run, a class that can be almost completely put together by rank 17. The biggest change you will notice is the addition of the RW1 with a tactical knife attachment in the secondary weapon slot. You obtain the RW1 at rank 16, but the unfortunate inevitability this time around is that you have to shoot the gun in order to get the tactical knife. There is no way around it. The exact challenge is get 10 hipfire kills with the RW1, and trust me, it's a doozy. For those snipers who keep their stats 100% free of gunfire, this is a sad day. That being said, once you do get the tactical knife for the RW1, you will be rewarded with the fastest melee in the game at approximately 0.7 seconds, significantly faster than its combat knife counterpart, a very deadly addition to any and all knife classes. The second biggest change you will notice is the ability to double up on perks in every tier. This is because at rank 17 you unlock all 3 greed wildcards. This is invaluable to a knifer. We can now strengthen our classes and fine-tune them more to our needs. For me, that means adding hardwired back to the perk 3 tier, as well as adding low profile to the perk 1 tier. But if you decide on the perk 2 greed wildcard, peripherals is useful, as well as blind eye, but also consider cold-blooded. Gained at rank 15, cold-blooded keeps you immune to thermal tracking, so you can't be seen through walls, along with no name displayed or reticle color change when enemies aim down sight at you, often giving you the amount of enemy hesitation needed to close the distance and get a kill, especially effective in close quarters. Lastly, in tier 2, fast hands is a very valuable asset, but only if you are using the spike drones, both of which are gained a lot further up the ranks, coming in at rank 43 and 49 respectively. Here's a class I've altered to cater to spike drone use. Those knifers who feel needing a projectile is necessary for knifing will find the spike drone to be their go-to. Like most projectiles, it comes with a difficult learning curve, but mastering this weapon is rewarding. Remember to equip fast hands once you unlock the spike drones. This will launch them at a faster rate, which means less time to kill, and every moment counts in Call of Duty. Now that you have your perks set up, let's re-examine your exo ability. Some may remove it entirely to free up space for adding a possible 6th perk. Personally, I use 2 exo abilities, taking advantage of the Tactician wildcard that comes default at rank 1. I add the exo cloak ability, which is unlocked at rank 13. This takes the place of the tactical grenade options within the class, most of which aren't used by knifers as they reserve this spot for the lethal spike drones. I discussed the cloak ability in depth in episode 1 of How to Knife in Advanced Warfare, so head over there for that lesson for exo cloak tips and tactics. Remember, most exo abilities take time to activate and deactivate, leaving you vulnerable to enemy gunfire at this time, so managing their use wisely is crucial and often just enough of a headache to not even equip at all. The only exception is the overclock, which is seamless when activating and the reason I use it on all knifing classes. Your score streaks are your final consideration. As a knifer, assault score streaks are off the table. Personally, I use nothing but the UAV. What sets the score streaks in Advanced Warfare apart from the rest is the ability to add variant modules to the streak, and by rank 17, you'll have the ability to add 2 such variables to the UAV. I highly recommend using support, which will ensure you get a UAV every round, and couple that with the module threat detection. You'll find most people run the perk low profile, which keeps them off the UAV, but not everybody uses cold-blooded, so the threat detection module will allow you to thermally detect enemies through walls that do not have a cold-blooded perk equipped. Once you get the ability to add a 3rd module to the UAV at rank 27, it's pretty much up to you what you want to add, if anything at all. I personally take extra time, as the whole team benefits from a longer lasting UAV. Now keep in mind that with each module that you add, your UAV will take more points to obtain. So for my UAV variation, it goes from requiring 400 points to obtain to 1100. This is why we have to add the support variation. It means that if you die, you still retain all of the points acquired toward that streak, lest you should have to get 8 kills in a row or more just to get a UAV. Now that you have your knifing class down, there are a few variations from here that are worth considering. Here's an example of a class with spike drones but no tactical knife, a very effective class that allows 6 perks to be equipped, and since you're using spike drones, the amount of knife kills you would normally receive would be reduced, thus making it less important to have a tactical knife, freeing up 2 additional spots in your pick 13 class. Another variation to consider in the first tier slot, you'll unlock the perk called Overcharged at rank 25. This extends the battery life of your chosen exo ability, so if you're like me and you have 2 exo abilities, this might be a perk for you. For example, your overclock that once lasted 10 seconds now lasts 15 seconds. Also, Overcharged has a very strange secondary attribute. It's the ability to stun enemies upon boost stomping. The boost stomp is an aerial melee maneuver whereby pressing B or circle in midair thrusts you towards the ground, effectively killing or harming enemies below. If you indeed miss the enemy, Overcharged will momentarily give your stomp stun-like effects on your enemy, thus allowing you to complete the job with the knife. So say you've tried everything discussed above, but you still want to deepen your knifing knowledge. Consider equipping a heavy shield to your primary weapon slot. Even if the shield goes unused, just having it on your back protects you from enemy gunfire from behind, and while on your back does not penalize your mobility. You can also utilize the shield as a safe way to assess enemy whereabouts by equipping it when turning corners. Approaching enemies with it is not recommended, as most smart players will know how to sidestep you and kill you from your exposed flanks. If this occurs, you can always fire spike drones while the shield is equipped, but be warned, this will make you vulnerable to incoming fire as the shield moves aside while you launch the projectiles. So be crafty with it and time it right. Conveniently, the shield re-equips itself after the firing of the launcher. Now once you get used to it, you'll start to develop your own ways to use the shield to creatively take out your enemies. Now the use of the heavy shield while you're knifing is an acquired taste, but learning how to knife with it defensively and offensively can be a rewarding and very challenging task, so approach it cautiously. This is for advanced knifers. Lastly, the only true thing that readies a knifer for every situation is practice and experience. Now go forth, create your own classes, and remember, keep those blades sharp. Peace.